Yo, yo, yo. Happy Tuesday. Today I am here with my guy Felix. How we doing?
My brother, doing great, man. Great.
All right. Today I want to touch on something that's very important that a lot of new agents miss, where it's how to take proper financial inventory, but more importantly, leverage the financial inventory to build a deeper why. How do we do that?
Man, that's actually my favorite part. I've always called the financial inventory my X-ray. Why? Brother, I start closing on the financial inventory already. And one of the things I focus around the most is majority of the people always come in with the mindset of price.
Yep.
So it's on me as a professional to understand not only what's their income, but what do they have left over at the end of each month once they pay out all the expenses. And that's when I start building the why, Jonah. It's so simple. Jonah, I see that you have about $500 left at the end of each month. God willing, if I'm able, hopefully, to find you something affordable and comfortable within that budget, will you be opposed to seeing if I can even get you approved today? And I'm starting right there, because if it's a no, if I find some resistance right there, I haven't built enough value yet. So why would I even show numbers?
Yes. All right. Hold on.
Sorry, let's back up.
I want to back up for two things though. First of all, what happens if I'm only selling based on price?
Man, first, you're not selling, because if another agent calls $10 less, $5 less, $20 less, do I truly have a client?
No. That's not real sales. If you're selling based on price, you are always going to get gouged. You're always going to lose. Sell based on value. And when you're selling based on price, what you're doing is you're tapping into somebody's logical side of their brain. You're never going to make a sale based on logic. People do not buy based on some people may tell you this, but it's not true. People do not buy based on logic. People buy based on emotion, and they justify it by logic. We're all guilty of it. And so, secondly, leveraging the financial inventory. How are you breaking down their budget to figure out how much is left over at the end of every month?
Right. So the main thing is, and you'd be surprised about this, I've always, since I started this business about 10 years ago, I always focus on, I want to be an advisor. Yeah. I want to be an advisor. So majority of the people, 7 out of 10 people, they don't know their budget. They don't know what comes in. They don't know what comes out. It's a true statistic. Look it up. I mean, more than 50% of the people live paycheck to paycheck. So if that's the case, and I'm asking how much money is left at the end of the month and they don't know it, then it's on me to do a quick burn rate exercise. Let's go through the electricity bill. And I'm connecting with them. Man, things are expensive. Do you see how expensive the eggs were? And they're like, yeah, oh my God, crazy. Yeah, that's why they assign me to you, to make sure that what we put in place today, something that's affordable for you. And I'm already soft closing it while I'm leveraging the numbers on the financial inventory. That's huge. In connecting with them.
And building that rapport. But more importantly, coming across as a professional, as an expert. Right. Building the right type of rapport. Okay, what would you say to somebody, and we've all gotten this. Yeah, Felix, why do you need to know that?
Well, I really don't need to know this. This is mostly for you, because based on this, I'll probably do my best to even see if I can get you qualified for some discounts. Does that make sense? So again, how much do you say you make a month?
Boom.
A lot of times when we're rookies, and we've all been rookies, you get stuck up there and you just overtalk.
Well, John, I need to know it because of this, and this, and da 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 da, and you just blew it up to be a way bigger deal than it really is.
This is not for me. Actually, this is for you.
Or what's even worse is when an agent says, "Okay, no problem," yeah, and then they skip it and they move on. You're never going to.
And you've seen it more because you've been building bigger teams than me for a while. Majority of the new agents, when they ask what product should I offer this client, and you go back to, well, what does the financial inventory say? And 50% of it is filled up. How am I going to recommend, or how am I going to prescribe you a medication if I don't even know your symptoms?
How I always explain that, Felix, is if I get a client on the phone and you tell me, hey, I'm not interested, my best response to that rebuttal, 2 seconds in the conversation, is going to be like, gotcha, Felix. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming you just wanted to make sure that your home was protected and paid off. God forbid, when something does happen to you, whether you became sick, disabled, pass away, so that it was taken care of for you and your family. Would that be a fair assumption? How often does that work?
Always. I say, well, the way you said it, I was about to say right there, yes, just because of your tonality. Like, you have me lean in. Like, let me lean in more.
Where I'm going with that is, it works most of the time as long as you have the right tonality, but it's like, that's the best I got. So if you tell me no, it's like, all right, well, I really don't have much to pivot to. But if you tell me, hey, Jonah, yeah, we don't need this, after I have the full financial inventory filled out, oh, it's over. Like, I could rebuttal you all day long because I got all the, I know your age, your health, the beneficiary, your income, the income deficit, how much you're making, your wife's making, your assets,
liabilities, what it would look like for your family if you lost all your income today. And that's where, to your point, we do so well on these trainings, and people need to take more advantage of that. Why? Because that's your ammunition.
And so it's really one of those things where I was like, I started smiling because it drives me crazy where it's like, agents just don't ask the question. Where like, even me 5 years in is like, they asked me I was like, I don't know. Like, how, like because the best salespeople are intentional question askers. They just really good at asking questions and getting information. So you have to look at that as your ammunition. And it's like, did you not feel like asking it? Or like, did you not think that was important? Did you just decide to skip it? Or it goes back to what my dad would always tell me. He's like, Jonah, just don't be sloppy. Just don't be sloppy. Whatever you do with excellence. And so when you're filling that out, just know that, hey, every question on there is intentional. We didn't put any BS filler questions on there.
And to your point, is understanding, not seeing the financial inventory as an extra step, as homework. Like, that is part of your not only advising or in consultation that you're giving your client, but that's going to help you understand what to offer them. How are you going to offer them something if you don't understand their holistic situation?
But that's why I love it, because you're a lion on the hunt. You're a lion on the hunt, because I was sharing about this the other day on our sales training too, where it's the perfect balance in this business, because it's 90% the same. Mm-hmm. Where, hey, I know as long as I say exactly what's on the script, I stick to the exact structure and do exactly what my mentors tell me, I'm going to close. And that's 90% of it. But think about if like a lot of sales companies has one product, one pitch, exact same script. Okay, well, cool. Well, I like how simple that is, but if it was too simple, that would get really boring. So it's 90% the same, but that 10% is different. And that's where you're able to analyze the financial inventory, turn the creative side of your brain on, and look at the ammunition and are like, all right, is this a doom and gloom situation where if something happens to John, Mary's going to be effed? Or are they two income dependent household where, it might be a little bit uncomfortable? Or are they killing it financially? Are they both like, they're both making 20 grand a month? They got different assets. They got life insurance policies. Are they young? Is this going to be a cashback option or IUL? Are they old? And this is going to be equity protection. Who's the beneficiary? What's the why? How am I going to position this? How am I going to build that? And it's like, most agents dread that or get anxiety. But I love that, because you got to look at it, you're like a lion on the hunt. So that's where you can actually have fun with it. And you don't have to be so robotic and feel like a robot. It's like, no, dude, this is a game. This is a sport. Like, you're playing football. Like, think about, like, a lot of us played sports in high school. Like, if you played football, if every play was the same, it's like, all right, you can only do that for so long before it's like, all right, well, this is pretty boring. But like, all right, what's the play for this? How am I going to position this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to tweak that? And then if you didn't close it, get with your mentor right after and like, hey, how would you handle this specific situation? So like, one thing that tripped me up when I was new and went from being my most dreaded clients to my favorite.
Equity.
Well, that too, but above that was when they were wealthy.
Oh,
wealthy clients. Yeah. Like, especially when you're in person, dude, I'd pull up to a $2 million home in the suburbs of Illinois out in Naperville, like fat mansion. I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know if I'm going to and like, you walk in and they got like the big double doors with like the 30-foot tall ceilings with the staircase and the balcony. And you're like, this is a fat house. And then like, you sit down and you're like, they got all these life insurance and assets. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, John, so you're going to, it's going to be, like, you're going to be a tough, like, spot if something happens. He's like, no, we'd be fine. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, so like, that used to be my most dreaded to like, I flipped that to those are my favorite because, dude, they have all these assets. They still need it. because now they have all these assets that they've worked their entire life to protect. And it's like, all right, John, well, you've done a really good job of setting yourself well financially. This is just the next logical financial move to protect those assets and put you in and strengthen the financial position. So that's a whole nother training that we can deep dive down. But where I'm going with that is you're just having fun in the process and treating it like it's
having fun and being relaxed, because the client feels that. We all know that what we do is it's just a transfer of energy, right? To your point with the wealthy clients, or even clients that may have multiple life insurance policies, they already believe in it.
Yes.
So it's a matter, right, of anchoring what was the main need of why they placed that insurance in the first place. Because you can have several life insurance, one for legacy, one to cover liabilities, one for the mortgage, one for funeral expenses. So it's a matter of first having fun with it, like you said. Two, what's your belief level? We're talking to a wealthy client, and I may be starting and I'm very broke right now, but I still got to talk like I'm at his level, because they'll read through that, they'll smell that. And then just three, anchoring each policy to their main why of why they got it in the first place. Man, I think the first thing you started was building the value, right? So we cover about the financial inventory, making sure that you're clear with the finances. Number two, to your point, number two, very, very important, making sure that you are having fun with the process and knowing that it is repetition, but it also allows for room for improvisation, because you're getting the financial inventory in front of you. So even with medical conditions, you can even say, oof, I'm going to do my best to get you approved. It's looking very difficult right now, but the fact that I'm a broker, you're selling the value on you. And then number three is making sure that this is an art. Selling is an art. So how are you perfecting your art every day and not thinking that you know it all? Because the minute you think you know it all, that's the minute you're dying.
Amen to that. Amen to that. What a good note to end on. Well, guys, we don't charge for sales training. We don't run ads.
Not yet.
Not yet. we won't ever. The only thing we ask is that if you didn't take value, just exit off this video. But if you did take value, only thing we ask, please like, subscribe, and share with somebody else that could use this information to increase their sales process. God bless.
Let's do it.